What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Raw's viewership up millions, NXT scores a big W, The Rock's big secret revealed, an AEW Star Is Done, are the Bella Twins returning to WWE, Jeff Hardy says he could have been bigger than John Cena, sad news for Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins removed from the upcoming Marvel movie, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at Raw's viewership up millions. Now, top of today's news are the viewership numbers for Raw's 6th January debut on Netflix. TKO Holdings recently announced that the debut episode of Raw on Netflix got off to a strong start, with the Monday night program capturing 4.9 million live viewers globally, and the inaugural event on Netflix averaged 2.6 million households, live and SmackDown in the US, according to Video Amp, which is 116% higher than Raw's average 2024 US audience of 1.2 million households, and higher than any other Monday Night Raw broadcast in the past 5 years. The event also more than doubled the 18 to 49 audience versus last year. Now, this is fantastic news for WWE and Netflix, which entered into a 10-year, $5 billion deal with WWE to air its content, including Raw in the US, as well as Raw and other content in the international market. However, these numbers may be confusing, as an earlier report this week projected some less than impressive numbers. Initial report from Samba TV that noted 664,000 US households watched Raw on Netflix when it aired. This led to fans wondering what happened, and some fans asking who in the blue hell is Samba TV. Now, for those wondering, Samba TV is a software company that claims to measure TV viewership based on more accurate methods than traditional ratings analytics systems such as Nielsen. Video Amp is a similar service, and one that's used by viewership numbers and used by entertainment companies including NBCU, Paramount, and Warner Bros. Discovery. The Hollywood Reporter has also reported on the story, noting the same numbers being touted by TKO Holdings. The WWE should be happy with its debut numbers, and while it's unclear whether it can sustain these numbers, it's definitely a good start. Keep in mind that these numbers don't even include numbers in India, as Raw is not available on Netflix just yet in India. When the service comes to India, that's when the numbers will triple if not quadruple. But it also seems that it helped NXT score a big W. That's good news for NXT, as the entertainment site Variety is reporting that the show did blockbuster numbers with its 7th January New Year's Evil special. The NXT New Year's Evil event on 7th January drew the WWE development brand's biggest TV viewership in over 5 years. According to Nielsen data, New Year's Evil averaged approximately 957,000 total viewers from 18 to 10 p.m. on the CW, with 341,000 viewers in the coveted adults 18 to 49 demo. Variety also noted that this is the best viewership for NXT since September 2019, when it was airing on the USA Network. The 7th January NXT provided with CW with its best numbers for the show yet in a few months on the network. Raj Giri also tweeted that one of the US's major markets didn't air the show. It should be noted that NXT didn't air in the LA market due to the coverage of the fires. Now, it's unknown just how much the LA market would have been boosting NXT's numbers, but NXT's strong numbers do raise the question of how much The Rock's appearance at Raw and his announcement that he was coming to NXT influenced the ratings. There's also a question of whether the many fans who tuned into Raw decided to check things out on NXT because they enjoyed the Red Brand's debut so much. It's also worth noting that New Year's Evil featured several huge matches, including 3 title changes. NXT's audience has increased, and its fan base has grown tremendously under Shawn Michaels' leadership. Next up, The Rock's big secret revealed. Now, has a fan uncovered the final boss's motives regarding Roman Reigns? Fans tuning into the 6th January Raw were startled to see that The Rock's apparent babyface turn as he praised former foe Cody Rhodes and crowned Roman Reigns as a tribal chief. However, The Rock followed this up later by telling fans to enjoy the ride and that he's always 20 steps ahead. And now the ex-account Raw Cinema is tweeting an interesting theory about The Rock's comments. Hold up, New Year's Evil was on January 7th. The Rock said that he was 20 steps ahead. The Raw on Netflix debut, Roman Reigns told Paul Heyman he wanted to be acknowledged on January 27th. January 7th, January 27th, 20 days apart, 20 steps ahead. Could this be The Rock's plan all along? Will he sabotage the Tribal Chief's announcement ceremony? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, an AEW Star Is Done. Now it's time for a massive rumor concerning AEW's Malachi Black, and the rumor that fans have heard more than once. Fightful Select is reporting that it's believed that Black is either finishing up or his run is already finished. Now, this is the first time that fans have heard of Black departing AEW, something Dave Meltzer commented about on the Wrestling Observer Radio. If Malachi gets mad because he got mad last time, I just want him to know that he needs to get mad at the people in the back, because the people in the back believe he is gone, for whatever that's worth. Our Fightful Select pointed out that Black did have the option years after 2025, and that Tony Khan had previously noted that he had Malachi Black under contract until 2027. There's no word on whether Black will be stuck sitting out his contract, whether he's received a release, or whether AEW chose not to exercise its options. But don't be surprised to see Black return to WWE if he does become a free agent. He was underutilized in WWE, much as in AEW, and Vince McMahon reportedly told Black after his release that he felt that he could have used him better. Fans watching Dynamite saw Will Ospreay tell House of Black member Buddy Matthews that it's time to step out of Black's shadow, which could be a sign AEW is preparing for his departure. This wouldn't be the first time AEW has dropped a wrestler without any significant build-up. You may recall former NWA Women's Champion Camille entered AEW as Mercedes Moné's enforcer, only to disappear from TV after a backstage attack. But adding to the Malachi mystery is a recent announcement from Coastal Championship Wrestling that Black will appear at its 11th January event. Interestingly, the press release describes Black as the All Elite Wrestling star and former NXT champion. Is just this an instance of a promoter hyping up a wrestler's appearance as much as possible, or evidence that Black is still under AEW contract? Next up are the Bella Twins returning to WWE. And never say never, a wrestling maxim that Brie and Nikki Garcia, aka former superstars the Bella Twins, could prove again. Brie recently appeared on the We Got Time with Deion Sanders and Rosie Diaz show and discussed a hypothetical return to WWE. We'll see, the wrestling ring has always been our home, and I think that's the hard thing about getting older, is that there's the person inside you who is like, I would do anything to go back 10 years to compete in the ring against the women today, but it's time and age. Both Nikki and Brie expressed their discontent with the WWE's booking of its female stars. They also dumped their Bella name when the WWE deals ended, fueling rumors about a potential jump to AEW. Some fans believe that Vince McMahon's departure may have warmed up Brie and/or Nikki for a WWE return. Brie mentioned how she and Nikki is still fans and at times in the wrestler's mindset. There's a funny thing to that, so we always want to compete. Every time I watch wrestling, I get fired up. Nikki and I would be like, oh, this promo we should cut, but we're like, wait, we're not even in the business. But you know, you are always still there. So anytime if WWE calls and is like, hey ladies, we want you back, it's always hard to say no. During the Nikki and Brie show, Nikki Bella, who appeared at Raw's Netflix premiere, discussed her troubled relationship with WWE, saying whether it's a business family or it's your actual family, there's always at some point a rocky road. That's life, and life happens and emotions happen, and so we had that rocky road with WWE. But one thing, as I've grown over the past few years and have continued to work on myself, I realized times where I made outbursts out of emotions that I probably shouldn't have done. And then there are times where I can recognize that I felt hurt and I wanted to be heard, but it probably wasn't the right thing to do. This is why things were rocky. Would you guys like to see the Bella Twins back in the WWE? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Seth Rollins claims that he asked CM Punk to return to WWE. Now, did CM Punk really turn his back on Seth Rollins when Punk walked out on WWE in 2014? And did Rollins reach out to Punk to return to WWE? Although Seth's recent promo war with Punk is focused on Rollins' claim that Punk abandoned his friends in WWE, some wrestling fans were unsure how much this was true and how much was a work to drive the storyline. And now Seth Rollins is repeating the accusations and detailing what happened, including his efforts to get CM Punk back in WWE. Rollins spoke with Chris Van Vliet about this, saying, yes, we were friends till he left, and we had a mentor-mentee kind of relationship at that point. I sent him some texts and called him after he left, but I wasn't comfortable enough with him. We were peers, but he was here and I was here, so I didn't push that envelope. According to Rollins, his outreach to Punk only led to negativity from him. Even over the years, I reached out to him a couple of times to try and engage and see where he was at and see if he was interested in coming back. Nothing, no response, except when he got a chance, he'd talk as much crap as he could. Now, do you think there's any merit to Seth's claim, or is this just another instance of the WWE trying to put over a feud with a work shoot? Next up, Jeff Hardy believes he could have been bigger than John Cena. Or could Jeff Hardy's wrestling career been bigger than John Cena's? Hardy believes it could have been if he'd been able to keep his personal demons under control. Hardy recently appeared on the WFAA TV in Dallas, revealing, the way I was living life in my 20s and 30s, and if I was living life the way I'm living now, oh my gosh, there's no telling. I would have probably been bigger than John Cena today, because I was born with such a gift to be a pro wrestler. It just felt so natural, like I was totally created to do this thing. Now, there's no denying that Jeff's many achievements in wrestling, dating back to his breakthrough team with Brother Matt as the Hardy Boys to his latest singles programs, including several runs as world champion in WWE and Impact Wrestling. But while it's easy to reflect with the benefit of hindsight, Jeff's career presents one of pro wrestling's more interesting what-if scenarios. He also discussed how he managed to maintain his longevity in wrestling, saying, "And the cool thing about it is that I'm still here, I still have life, and I feel good. As Matt mentioned, we're big ice bathers, and that's been crazy beneficial for me, mentally and physically. So yeah, I don't put the number on it. I'll just pretty much wrestle until I can't wrestle anymore." Do you think that Jeff Hardy could have surpassed John Cena's many accomplishments had things been different? Next up, sad news for Braun Strowman. Now, if you're wondering why Braun Strowman hasn't been on SmackDown recently, well, the monster among monsters was in the middle of a program with Carmelo Hayes, only to vanish from the blue brand. And now Strowman is letting fans know via Instagram about his whereabouts, an excerpt which follows. 2025 has been off to a rough start for me. I picked up some kind of bug last week and it's absolutely whipped my ass. I laid in a hotel room for 4 days there with a fever of 102 or higher for the first 3 days. A week later, I'm finally over what I think is the hump. My severe body aches are finally easing up. Today is the first day I've been able to move around and really do anything. I've lost 36 pounds in this week. Had tests taken and all they could determine was that it was very bad flu, thankfully. The former Universal Champion said that he had to miss last week's SmackDown, Raw's Netflix debut, and will be off this Friday's blue brand. Strowman fans know that the big man has a wild ride in wrestling, including a shocking release in 2021, followed by a 2022 return plagued by an extended absence due to neck surgery. But it sounds like he's unfazed as he told, "There hasn't been anything this life has thrown me at that I haven't been able to overcome, and this is sure hell isn't going to stop me from having one of my best years to date. 2025, your ass is mine." Now we're sending our best to the big guy for a fast and full recovery. Next up, Seth Rollins removed from the upcoming Marvel movie. Now, if you were expected to see Seth Rollins in the new film Captain America Brave New World, well, we got some bad news. Rollins, who took time off from the WWE to appear in the film, recently told Chris Van Vliet that his part was cut. As for why, Seth mentioned, "Truth be told, any answer I would give would only be my opinion on it. The script went through a lot of rewrites and reshoots, so what I was there to do, essentially my role got either repurposed or completely erased. So I did do a bit of an audition to possibly pop into another role, I believe, or repurposing of my role. Not exactly sure on what it was, but they ended up going in a different direction with it." Now, this isn't uncommon, as fans will remember AEW talent MJF took time off to appear as Lance Von Erich in last year's Iron Claw film, only for his role to be getting cut. Next up, Rollins reveals Becky Lynch's status. Now, Seth Rollins is also letting fans know that his famous wife hasn't been spending her time off from WWE catching up on the latest daytime dramas. Seth told Chris Van Vliet, "My wife loves act. She's way better at it than I am. She's got awesome stuff coming out. Obviously, she's announced her bit on Star Trek. I think it comes out in May next year. She's got another secret thing that I'm not allowed to talk about. That will be coming out sooner than that. You know, people have been like, oh, she's been on hiatus taking a break. She's not been taking a break. She's been working her tail off since May." Now, IMDb notes that Becky Lynch will appear in the upcoming Starfleet Academy series, but her role is unknown. And finally, JoJo Offerman working in AEW. Last but not least, interesting news regarding former WWE ring announcer JoJo Offerman, who was engaged to Bray Wyatt before his untimely passing. Fightful reports that JoJo appeared as a ring announcer before the January 4th episode of AEW Collision, doing work for a dark match that aired before the show. Those that we spoke to in AEW said that she is expected to do more with the company, who weren't given a specific role or time frame, as she worked in WWE as a ring announcer until she exited the company in 2021. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.